I'm very excited to tee up the next session. This is Connected Omni Experiences, Wins, Losses, and Lessons Learned. This ladders back perfectly into the theme that we've been building for the day, which is all about the future of customer experiences. And so we have this really interesting dynamic mix of retail speakers that are about to come up. We have people who represent convenience and apparel and tech. But what's really interesting too is that they bring a wealth of knowledge from other verticals as well, including beauty and QSR. And I really think that this is the future of retail, where we share and apply learnings across different verticals. And I think this is not just important for your current job and how you do your job right now, but also as you start career planning, if you're a director level, if you're VP level, start thinking about how you can get experiences in different verticals so that you can start pulling together all of that knowledge to advance your careers. So it's going to be a great conversation. Again, this is about Omni experiences, and I'm very pleased to bring up to the stage Jon Kosoff from Boot Barn. We have Alyssa Callahan from BP, Stuart Hogue from Land's End, Matthew Dunphy from commercetools, and it's moderated by Blake Droesch, Senior Analyst, eMarketer. Welcome to the stage.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Blake Droesch. I'm a senior analyst with the market research firm eMarketer, and I'm really thrilled to be here to lead our discussion on connected omni experiences. As we know, the term omnichannel is sometimes overused and often misunderstood, but in a world where the lines between physical and digital continue to blur, it really is essential that all brands and retailers have an effective omnichannel strategy that actually meets consumers where they are. So today, we're gonna check in with some folks who are actually putting this stuff into practice and get a pulse on their wins, losses, and lessons learned. So first, let's just go down the line, have everyone introduce themselves, starting with you, Matt.
Sure. Hey, everybody. My name is Matt Dunphy. I'm a solutions engineer for commercetools. We're an omni-channel composable commerce platform, and I've got about 20 years experience in the field from both the developer side and working closely with customers who are doing B2B and B2C. Really excited to talk about this.
Hi, everyone. Stuart Hogue. I am the head of U.S. consumer at Land's End. Been there for a couple years, and at Land's End we have a very big, and I'll talk about this hopefully in a bit, we have a big digital business, but we also have stores, we have retail partners, and an incredible customer care team, and I get to oversee all that.
Hi everyone, I'm Alyssa Callahan, and I lead marketing at BP. BP is a fuel company, and we're also a convenience company, so we own brands like Amoco and AMPM and Thornton's. And I have a traditional e-commerce background. I think this is a new industry for me, and I'm really excited to share some of the cool things BP is doing as a fuel company in digital and omnichannel.
Hello, Jon Kosoff, new to Boot Barn, not new to the industry, Chief Digital Officer at Boot Barn. I've been here about 5 months. Been in the industry about 25 years, working on omnichannel before it was even omnichannel.
All right, thanks. So Alyssa, I want to start with you.
Sure.
And obviously, omnichannel it's a big word, it's a huge topic. So could we just kick things off by having you tell us, when BP thinks about omnichannel, what comes to mind, and where are you on your omnichannel journey? Obviously, it's a term that's been around for a long time, but there's constantly innovation happening in the space, and brands are continuing to develop their strategies. So where are you at with it?
Yeah, and I think that's a great question, and we do use omnichannel in many different ways now, but I think all with the right intention, which is meeting the customer where they are and wherever they want to interact with your brand. You're there for them in the way that they want to experience you. So for us, we use omnichannel in the traditional ways across our marketing, so in media and social with our ads and retargeting. But what omnichannel really means for BP now is how we connect really all the experiences you can have within one of our sites within the parameter that it sits on. So that's from the fuel pump to the convenience store to the EV charger to the car wash, and having one mobile app where you can have your loyalty points in your experience, get unique offers, but also pay, pump, and check out as well. So it's really one digital experience that allows you to interact with the brand every place on our site for us.
Great, thanks. And Stuart, Lands' End, obviously a very different business. You don't
Yeah.
have any fuel pumps.
Nope.
But what does Omnichannel mean for you guys?
So a little bit of the background for Lands' End. So first off, any Lands' End customers out there in the audience, thank you all very much. So Lands' End started in the 60s as an all things sailing concept, and then in the 80s exploded with the advent of catalog, and then in the 90s was an early entrant into the digital commerce space. So we set up our digital commerce site in 1995, the same month as Amazon.com did. And so I always say we're like an OG pure play apparel retailer. And so we're very different than a lot of apparel brands where the majority of our business is direct to consumer, and it has been for decades. But as we have grown and evolved, we need to continue to meet and greet new customers out there in the world. And for us, Omnichannel is like what Alyssa said, is being able to meet customers at that moment of truth, whether they're shopping on landsend.com, whether they're shopping our catalog, or whether they happen to be shopping on Nordstrom. So it's creating more of a digital ecosystem. We do have stores, and we certainly support our efforts there, but for us, it's about growth, and it's about reaching customers out in the digital world.
Great, thanks. And then John, from Boot Barn, you're relatively new to the organization, but tell us a little bit about where you as a retailer sit. What does the omnichannel mix look like, and how are you developing strategy there?
Yeah, so we're 467 stores now, actively adding stores. We say we're omni-channel focused, but we're store first. Really focusing on store growth, as new stores actually, every time we open a store, it helps the e-commerce business. And same thing the opposite way as well, is when people shop online or browse online, they go to stores. About 70% to 80% of people browse online before they go to stores as well. So they work collectively together.
Great. Matt, so we've heard from the retailers. Now I want to hear from you. You work with a number of B2C and B2B businesses. Where are your clients really seeing success when it comes to omnichannel innovation? So really, being able to meet the customer where they are. But where is there still that friction? And what exactly is happening in order for brands and retailers trying to solve for this friction?
Sure. So, commercetools being a composable platform, our customers really have full control over the user experience. And I think that gives us some really neat insight into how folks like PetSmart and LL Bean and Five Below and customers like that are engaging across more than just a website and more the store, and bringing that together. And it's taking things like, there's a customer of ours, Screwfix, in the UK, like a Home Depot, but mostly tools and things like that. Built on our composable platform, you can place orders at the counter in the store, and actually complete the payment on your phone, right? Shop around, but when you walk in with your phone, if you've got an order for pickup, the store detects that you've got the app open and plays a little sound for where you're gonna go pick things up. It's going to promote little site-specific promotions while you're in store on the app, but they're also doing really interesting things in terms of if you're ordering on the construction site, getting things within 60 minutes from one particular distributor versus within a day or within 5 days from their warehouses. And it's having access to that data in a quick way that allows them to not only build these seamless experiences between different ways that a customer can shop, but prepares them for bringing AI into the mix and having agentic shopping being one of those things that they do. Where there's friction, where there's limitation, might really be if you don't have sort of newer technology that's able to mesh with that. A lot of things from sort of the previous generation of tech were really made to kind of do everything all at once, and they don't like to talk friendly with others. But there's interesting ways to work around that, and I think aside from that, it's trying to catch up with the customer. Folks are coming from growing up playing video games. They want to have an easier, more fun way to buy things, and you want to be able to meet them there with a good experience no matter how they're buying from you.
So it's interesting because when we talk about fun ways to buy things, and they're meeting the customer both in store and online, and that fluidity. You wouldn't think necessarily, okay, I have a shopper in a physical store, and they're standing at the checkout. You think you've got them. You don't need to introduce digital back into the scenario, into the path to purchase. But things can switch channels even up until that last moment. So I do want to talk a little bit about sort of the path to purchase. So not just the conversion piece, but being able to track the shopper throughout awareness and consideration as well. We'll start with you, Jon. What about sort of the full funnel and omnichannel? When we think about those two concepts, where does Boot Barn sort of like put emphasis on engaging customers both digitally and in store, like throughout that journey? And how do you sort of keep an eye on that when it comes to tracking the same customer from in store to online and vice versa?
Yeah, I think we're lucky enough to have a loyalty program, right? And I think core to a lot of omnichannel strategies is loyalty. Omnichannel loyalty, again, another definition of loyalty, or omnichannel is loyalty. So being able to track that customer through their journey has been phenomenal for us. And we're starting to leverage more in the paid social space as well. So we can message online, whether a customer has rewards. And again, when the rewards are expiring, we can do that all through email, through social, and in the stores as well.
And Alyssa, you obviously faster moving consumer goods, very different path to purchase than apparel, right? So could you tell me a little bit about how BP has that lens on the customer?
Yep. So we're really focused on loyalty too. I think once we can get someone to download our mobile app, they're much more likely to come back, which we all know. So one thing we've done, when we look at our traditional brand awareness media, we're really bringing that loyalty offer higher in the funnel than we have ever before. We have great brand awareness, and I think people know about the quality of our fuel. So we're trying to really bring that up, which is not something we see all the time, that mix of really brand advertising plus call to action, download the app. So we're trying to capture them sooner in the journey. And then once they've joined the program, we want everyone to download the app, but we've also made it easy for them to just pay with their phone number or with a credit card they've stored in their mobile app wallet to continue to get loyalty points. And then with fuel, I think you said before, exciting experiences and making it fun. Fuel's interesting because it's really what we consider a neutral purchase. It's something you have to buy. You don't really feel great after you buy it, but you keep buying it every week because you have to. So the way we differentiate is through the digital experience and trying to make it really seamless, easy, quick, and fun. So we've put a lot of effort into that mobile app. It takes seconds to download. You receive rewards in real time. You can see on the pump, it'll roll back so you can see your offer in real time. You can pay and start the pump with your phone, so it's contactless. So I think we really lean in on the parts of the journey when they're actually at our site, because we know that will extend their lifetime to come back with us again and again.
Great. So when we do talk about selling in channels, Stuart, this question's for you. Lands' End obviously has these, as you alluded to, these really significant roots in direct to consumer, being one of the original businesses. But over the years, you've mentioned that you have embraced Amazon and other retail partnerships. How do you approach selling on multiple channels while still maintaining that sort of that integrity and the ethos of the Lands' End brand, which is so directly tied to that relationship with your customers?
Yeah, well, our relationship with our customer starts, and the loyalty we have with them starts with our product, right? We have timeless products that are just beloved, whether it's our famous tote bag or the tugless swimsuit or the squall jacket. And because of that loyalty, we're able to, with confidence, go out into the marketplace and feel like we will be able to serve customers and still maintain that brand relationship. What we've been working on over the last couple of years is to not just have the loyalty that comes from those key franchises, but to build in newness and energy and kind of the social, all that comes with social media and marketing the brand and the energy around our tote bag, for instance, which we're doing a lot there. So when we go to, when we sell on Amazon or Nordstrom or Macy's, a big part of our strategy is to be hyper curated and very specific about the customer who's shopping there, right? And understanding not just demographically who that customer might be, but the mindset they have when they're on Amazon, right? What's that, I want speed, I want efficiency, and I want prime. Therefore, here's the right assortment for that moment in time. Whereas on Nordstrom, it's more of a fashion-driven purchase, and therefore we lead with our premium swim product and our higher AUR outerwear. So it's about being consumer first and being quite specific about the consumers and the mindsets you're serving across the marketplace and delivering on that promise of great products in that moment of truth.
And are you seeing a lot of your customers engage with the brand through multiple channels as you've expanded?
We do. So again, because of our heritage in direct-to-consumer, we've always had data, and that's data is sort of the lifeblood of our business, and we're quite good at mining that data and trying to understand our shopping behaviors, not just on our own site, but how customers shop across the marketplace. A benefit of running a marketplace business is you know where you're sending the product because it's centrally distributed from your own fulfillment center, right? And so you can look at the customers you're serving and try to build models to understand, okay, well, there's an opportunity here for this assortment. There's an opportunity with this partner for this service and offering, and it creates complementarity versus redundancy in how we go to market.
So Matt, to transition to talking a little bit about the back end a little bit, obviously not all brands have that luxury of having a wealth of customer data, but with Omnichannel, it's imperative for all brands and retailers to have that 360-degree view of the customer. And you spoke a lot about legacy systems and new technology not mixing with old technology. How are brands and retailers working to sort of to get around that in order to get that view that is really essential in order to be able to have a really good understanding of who your customer is and how they interact from different channel to channel?
Now, that's a great question, because as digital commerce has evolved over the last 20 years and you get into different ways of selling, you do tend to, we had a moment where we were losing that first party connection, whether it's advertising or selling through marketplaces, and trying to bring people back to your brand. And the way that you're able to do that through, whether you're dropping a flyer in the box that you're sending out that says, hey, come back to the website for a 10% off discount or something like that. Having a system that maybe layers in, that collects that information, because like you said, data is key. The more you know about your customer, the more you can serve them better. And by providing a good customer experience, you don't have to go out and search as much, right? You bring them to you and make it exciting for them to interact with you, whether they're a consumer or maybe they're a groomer working with you in sort of a B2B use case. It is really trying to reconnect with your customer, no matter where they found you originally. Bring them back home. Yeah.
Great. And then we'll shift to talking a little bit about agentic AI and its impact on the customer journey. I think we feel like omnichannel is not a new term. There are very well-defined digital channels that brands and retailers are very savvy on getting a hold on, and now there's this new technology coming about that is really almost guaranteed to become a whole new channel of shopping within itself. And I want to go down the line, and starting with you, Jon, just to get everybody's thoughts on how do you think just the evolution of AI is going to impact the way that your customers are engaging with you as brands and retailers, and what are you doing or what are you planning on doing in order to sort of stay ahead of that?
Yeah, I think we've done a good job. The team did a fantastic job in building our AI agent called Cassidy. We have it both online and in stores, so it's on every product page, but also in stores as well. And customers can ask it any question. One thing we learned early was the model had to be different in stores than online. For example, I shop for boots much differently online than in the stores. And one of the first questions, where are work boots? And we had to put in basically the store layout of every store into the model. So if you're in our Tustin location, it tells you where the work boots are in this store versus if you're in another location. So we're using the engine kind of power in store and online, and then also for our partners as well, which we call our store associates. So they're able to ask it questions, and we're learning and building from that model.
Great. Alyssa, how about you?
Yeah, I think we've started to use it in our mobile app, so we're actually piloting a chatbot, because who doesn't want a chatbot in their Fuel app? Why not? I think a lot of it comes back to where are my loyalty points, or I have a question about the program, which is fine. The other use case where we're really, where I see it expanding rapidly is for our retailers, our operators, our franchisees, and those who are serving the customer, whether that's at the pump or in the store. And we have it embedded into some of our retail operating systems, so it can help them with things like inventory control, it can help them with staffing, and it also brings in that data from our loyalty app, so when someone comes in, they have all of that right in front of them. And I think that's one of the best use cases, is the ability to bring it into your point of sale, to make the operator or the team member at the site able to better service the guest.
I'm trying to think of the questions I would ask the app at the fuel pump. Would be like, which grade do I get?
How many
or
rewards
do I really have to change my oil?
So I hope they ask that. Yeah, why should I get premium?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have an answer to that.
All right.
You'd be surprised. You build it, people will use it.
Yeah, no, I totally believe it. So I think within the next 12 months, I think we are going to see a transformation in how consumers discover and find product. And we are very curious about that and leaning into that at Land's End, because for us, it's more critical than ever that we're top of mind, that we're in the consideration set when a consumer is looking for a great jacket or a great swimsuit. And clearly, the growth and adoption rate people are seeing in agentic AI is explosive. We've started to look at, are we starting to see a trend shift in traffic coming from the more traditional search engines to the agentic ones, and we are seeing it. It's still relatively small, but the growth rate is big and fast, and something to pay attention to. What I think is also very interesting is how the agentic models are evaluating what to serve up is different than what traditional search engines serve up. And a lot of it is less based on, do you have that term in your copy, and more, do you actually have authority, and have you earned it, right? And what we're finding, back to the marketplaces thing, is that a lot of the marketplaces are performing in the early days quite well, because they have that traffic, they have that selection, and they have the authority. And so it's another reason for us to be more omni-channel in this digital world, and to be where consumers are shopping. But I'd say overall, AI is obviously a huge opportunity for us as a brand, and we're looking at it up and down the value chain of how we go to market, and are like launching sprints into our business and trying to transform how we do copy, transform how we create images, how we do demand forecasting. It's quite exciting and a little bit daunting, but we're taking it in bite-sized chunks.
I'll add one, which I'm surprised by. You know who's most excited about it? Obviously, we are internally, but our stores and our store teams and our store associates are really excited. When we started testing these things, they're all in, which is great, and that was a surprise.
Why do you think that is?
I think they're able to get information really fast, right, and get pretty accurate responses, right? It has to work. If it doesn't work, who cares? But if it works well, they like it. And we're also testing it in training as well.
If we could think of ourselves, as consumers, and where, because there's obviously a lot of discussion around, right, that upper funnel, right? You're seeing traditional search engine traffic dropping a little bit in favor of these Gen AI platforms, but there's so much talk about sort of full funnel shopping, and it only being a few years away, right? And if I can think of, if I put myself again in the shoes of the consumer, yes, like there's a certain area of discovery and research where I can see an immediate use case for AI. But what about sort of that lower funnel activity actually, I think, it's a great example for like Land's End, something where it's an item of clothing that is probably of higher consideration, right? You're buying a winter jacket.
Sure.
Is a consumer actually going to want to use AI to begin and complete a purchase based on what they're getting out of that platform? Or do you think that, there's always going to be a place for the brand channels in order to engage with the customer at the very end of the journey?
That's a good question. I just learned last week that Perplexity now has shopping natively built into it, right? So you can search running shoes on Perplexity, and there's an opportunity. You can just literally buy it if you're a part of the premium subscription. So, just like we were having the existential debate around whether stores will still exist, which of course they will. I believe brand.com sites will grow and probably be mutually reinforced by AI. I do think commerce will become increasingly more distributed, and the evolution of AI meets omnichannel becomes just simple and easy at that point and moment of truth, whether you're shopping in an engine or have navigated because you get our catalog to landsend.com.
Right. John, go ahead.
I'll add real quickly. I think our customers are a little more traditional, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's to depend on the customer base to some extent. In addition, right now, we still answer the phone. You call us and we'll answer the phone right away, and our customers love it. So that's something that's important to us as a brand. So while I think it'll get there, I think it'll be different based on the brand and the retailer.
Yeah, and I think also this idea that shopping in the store is still becoming a lot more digitally involved, and there are a lot of ways that chatbots, as Alyssa you mentioned, can also be leveraged within mobile apps as well. And then I guess with the time that we have left, I just want to touch a little bit on this nuance between mobile and desktop shopping, because that was sort of one of the original conversations when omnichannel was starting to really come about. And in eMarketer's research, we are forecasting that more than 50% of e-commerce sales in the U.S. by 2027 will come from mobile channels. And I just think it's interesting. We've got obviously two clothing retailers on stage here, but I'm wondering if any of you have any thoughts, just basically how the era of basically the m-commerce majority being ushered in is impacting at all how you're dealing with the ways that you're targeting customers, and obviously in the lower funnel as well, with there being so many more robust payment options through mobile as well. If anyone has any thoughts.
Either way.
Well, I'll say that it's been very dramatic over the last 2 years how quickly it used to be more desktop than mobile. Now it's more mobile traffic than desktop, and it's kind of that gap is widening for us. But I think it's super cool is that we've historically had a bit older of a customer, and more female, but it's a balance. That customer is a mobile first customer, right? They spend a lot of time on their mobile devices and their apps and choose to shop there first, and more so increasingly.
Yeah, I would say we've seen the mobile transition for sure. The other thing I think becomes into play is just how important site search is, and site sort, and how you're displaying that information and content to customers on the mobile display is crucial now, because the screen is so small, and the majority of customers are buying that way.
I think an interesting thing about blending all these different things, in-store, website, and mobile, even going back to the example that I had, if you want to take a new payment method in-store, like point of sale it's a lot of work to swap out point of sale and to update point of sale. Being able to throw an order to your phone, that immediately gives you all kinds of new payment ways. And as things come out, the development patterns around working in these modern commerce approaches, you're able to iterate more quickly and serve people better, whether it's building a better app that does these kinds of really interesting interactions, or doing it as part of the wider program. And what our customers have seen, as you get that engagement on mobile, they're stickier customers. They're seeing higher average order values because you can surface more personalized things, because you also get all of that data that's on the phone, location, and all kinds of weird stuff there.
Great. Well, I think, unfortunately, it's all the time that we have, but I want to thank our panelists so much, and I think we're gonna wrap things up with some commerce next steps. So based on the conversation that we just had, first topic, definitely, it seems like finding the right partnership fit is crucial for omnichannel success. I think, Stuart, you alluded a lot to the working with different marketplaces is certainly paying dividends as we're seeing a lot of behavior shift with Gen AI. Number two, convenience is king. Alyssa, I'm sure, alluded to that. Delivering an omnichannel experience, it should be rooted in removing friction for the customer, and Matt, you alluded to that as well. And then, third, bracing for change at the top of the funnel. So Gen AI really being poised to steal a greater share of search in the coming years, and brands, need to prepare how this is going to impact the customer journey, if not, all the way through the purchase, or certainly at the very top. All right, well, thanks so much for having us, and I hope you enjoyed the talk.
Thank you.